Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to Cars with Ben, and in today's video I'm going to be going over 5 of the cheapest cars in the UK you can insure right now. These are my top 5 that I have decided would be the best for a 17-year-old if they were just starting. So I've compiled the information from Parker's, U-Switch and CarWow and a range of different other sources, and then decided on these sort of best 5 that I believe will be best for the UK population. Now, I know there is a lot of cars out there, but this is my best 5. I have done a video like this before as well, which I'll link you to, which is 5 of the coolest cars you can buy if you're just starting out. But these will be my top 5 in this case. So without further ado, like, comment, subscribe. Let's jump straight into today's video. Kicking things off with the first choice is the Ford Ka or Ka. So the Ford Ka has been around for quite a while now actually, and it has an excellent reputation for being a really good car. Now, this particular model is a 2016 version, and in terms of kicking off with insurance group, it is fairly low. Now, as you can see here, it's £1,200 roughly from what I've sourced. Another really good option though, because it is still incredibly cheap. Roughly, you're looking at around £1,200 if you are 17, which is still incredible if you think about it, because you are really young. I do like these, but in personally more about the car, I would have a specific, more of a better spec, because I just don't like the spec as much as I would if it was, if it was a bit of a darker colour or a lighter white maybe. The blue doesn't really do it for me. In terms of tax, it's a very cheap car to road tax at £30 a year, or was. I don't know if that's still the case now because they have changed it, but for this specific model it is. The only thing I would say about the Ford Ka is that it is just not as interesting. It looks a bit boring now, and I would say the 2012 model was more of a Ka than this one. Fuel economy is excellent with 47.9 mpg and very powerful, well, fairly powerful for a 17-year-old, 70 brake horsepower. So with all the tech included, not too bad. Coming in at number 2 is a Hyundai I10. Hyundai I10 has actually been out for quite a while now, and to be fair, Hyundai have been very good recently. They didn't used to be good cars, and they have really increased. So to give you some stats, this Hyundai i10 is a 2014 to 2020 model, where they have created a new one now, but I'm specifically talking about this one because it's more of the affordable for the 17-year-old. It's got a power of around 70 horsepower and fuel economy of 40.9 mpg to 50, which is excellent, giving it an insurance group of 1 to 7. So that would put it in around the £1,000 bracket. But again, you could be anywhere from between 900 to 1500 when you're starting off, and depending on your area, so don't forget to check that. They also have a lot of great equipment and tech, which is awesome for 17-year-olds who want to have that connectivity. Really good driving cars, apparently. Especially if you're renting or you're actually living with it, they're just excellent little cars, and they've proven more popular with younger drivers. So definitely something to consider when looking at your first car. Coming in at number 3 is the Toyota Aygo. Has to be my favourite on the list because this car has been around, or the new model anyway, I'm specifically talking about, has been around since 2014. It has 60 horsepower and roughly probably the best fuel economy I've seen, of up to 61 mpg, and an insurance group of 5 to 9. So that puts it roughly, from the chart we saw earlier, at around £1,000 to £1,200, which is still excellent. And a road tax for these, if you get the right one, is £0. So that is a great thing. Owner's note from U-Switch that the car is very reliable and hasn't had really any major fault issues in its history from 2014. Reliable maintenance over the years, so definitely something to consider. Very similar to the Citroen C1, which I will talk about in a moment, but has to be my favourite just because of that Aygo X. I just love these little cars, and they're so much better now in the new models and variants that we've seen. So definitely, as well as the colours, that has to go down on the list, because they just make that bit more cooler for a 17-year-old if you are just looking. Coming in at number 4 is the Citroen C1. So a French alternative this time, and a cool one. I really like this one because they have developed over the years. Now, Citroen, looking at it, is around 70 horsepower and a fuel economy of 51 to 58, so very good for fuel. And one of the highest insurance groups I've seen at 6 to 13, but still very low in comparison. So you're probably looking at around £1,500 for this. Again, it's a rough estimate, but it's where I would place it in terms of the insurance list for 17-year-olds. Road tax, again, much like the Aygo, being £0, which is excellent if you are just starting off. You really want to bring that road tax down as much as possible. Again, owners note that being a Citroen, it could have potential reliability issues just because of the nature of and history of a Citroen, but because it shares the same platform as the Toyota Aygo, it should still be able to have that same reliability and pretty much is the same car for all intents and purposes. And the final option is the VW Up, a German option this time. Now, I really like VW Ups because they have been around for a while now, but with this one, you can go from the 2012 and upwards, and they are really cool cars. You could modify it if you wanted to. VW Ups are looking at around 59 to 113 horsepower, so the most powerful of the list, because it's of course German, and the road tax is about £20. The insurance group does go from 1 to 17, so that means it is again exceeding the highest on the list so far. But that should only really mean that you're looking at around, it could be as low as £1,200, again, anywhere up to £1,500 on average for these cars from what I've seen. And here you can see a basic model that was a bit more specced up. But this would be, a good choice if you are starting off. It is a nice little car, and it has to be, again, one of the cheapest options in the UK right now. Anyway, guys, that has been my top 5. Let me know what you think. And as a bonus, I'm just throwing in this Renault Twingo, which is one of my awesome picks from the top 10 list. It is never really used much, but I just had to throw it in because it is a cool little car that I wish I'd seen more people driving when they're passing the test. Anyway, guys, see you in the next video.